And we're back. Now I've got popped out the control metal and the breather unit. Not too sure about the breather, it may be a bit too big, but once I get to the front I'll figure that out. As you can see, I have installed and covered up the acrylic support for the horn, and I'm slowly starting to make the shape of it. This is the part that takes a long time because you have to look at it from this direction, from the underside, from this side, and from the top, just to make sure that it's straight, it's properly proportioned, and that it's centered. And that is probably the toughest part to make, to have properly, is the horn on these things. I've started to cut out the sides where the fleshy, if you want to call it that, the fleshy bits are going to go into in front and up behind the control metal. As far as the back as well here, I've scooped this out. And so far that's pretty much it. I haven't gone with the spray bottle. I want to get my overall rough shape. If I can get like the horn 80% done and then move on to the stuff, great, because it is very, very time consuming part of the sculpt. And then once I'm happy with that, I'll start to work my way down, and I'll finish off with the back, because the sides need to have probably a good 3/4 of an inch, almost an inch of clay, because it's supposed to have this big round thing, and I'm not getting that right now. So I gotta increase the amount of clay that I've got there, which is probably going to be another, I figure probably two pounds, maybe a little bit more. So when this thing's all said and done, I'll probably have 14 pounds on it, maybe as high as 16. But, and I already did, what I did earlier is I went in with to where the eyes are supposed to be, and I cut out roughly where I thought they would be, and I'm still dead on target, which is great. And the fact that it's foam underneath, you just cut your shape and they just pop out. They don't really stick to the foam. That's why you have to cover the whole foam head first before you start applying clay. Because if you only did it half, or to half the head, then you could just grab one side and peel it right off. It does not stick. So that's why you gotta have use a little bit more clay, because that you have to do this build up beforehand. But which at the same time makes everything really easy, because once you've cast the whole thing in latex and you're ready to pull this thing out, it just peels out. And when you're gonna peel all the clay to put it in a big bucket to be able to reuse it on another sculpt, you just basically take an X-Acto knife and run it right down the middle, slice, cut off the horn, and take everything that's removable, like the breathers and the control metal, off, and then you can pretty much just take it and peel it right off. It is that easy at the end. So I'm going to get more of my initial form done here. But you can get an idea, like you really do want to fill everything in nicely. You want to take your time to get as much as the bumps and dips and just overall irregularities in the sculpt out of the way. Now you're not going to spend 3 hours doing this. You're going to get your rough shape first, you're going to get all your high detail first, and then you're going to start finishing off. That's why I'm not going to worry about the back here till the end, because it's easy. You just have to reapply additional clay and smooth it out, and that's where the water comes in. It just makes everything so much easier. The only places I'm going to do probably smooth out right away is going to be around high detail areas. And the eyes, basically the eyes, you're just smoothing out as you go. Basically you cut out a rough idea of where, or you line out, and by what I mean is line out is, well, I'll show you here. Just to get an idea, if I was to line out the eyes, I would just simply do something akin to this. Hopefully you can see it. This thing's getting heavy. But you can see the outline of the eye right there. And that's what I call a line out. You're not digging it out, you're just giving yourself a rough idea of where the lens is going to be. Now I don't put the lens in the clay form because it's pointless. I just make sure that there's a bit of an undercut groove where the lens is going to sit. So once my cast is done and I'm ready to start adding features like lenses and wires and so on and so forth for anything that may light up, like the control metal, I already have the cuts dug in. So when I go in with a cutting tool like a Dremel, I can already see it, so I can just take it and just cut out the outline and then just go in with sandpaper and then just finish it off. That way I've got 2 holes and I test fit the helmet, everything's good. Pop it off back again, maybe just do a bit of sanding on the inside so the lenses fit flush. Pop them in, silicone bead all around that, and away you go. But essentially that's what I mean by line out, is basically doing a line inside the clay, or a groove if you will, a cut, without removing any clay, to be able to have an idea of where things are going to fit. And that's basically what I do before I cut in into the helmet for these spots, the back here where the control metal is going to sit. I'll sit the control metal on it, give it a quick tap, pop it back out, it gives me a ring, and I'll just go in with one of my carving tools and cut that out so it sits in nice and deep. And yeah, that easy really. So next video is we'll probably concentrate more on facial features, just to give you a few tips on how to do that kind of stuff, because it ends up using a lot of brushes with water, wooden tools, and for the most part a lot of touch and go and patience. So see you on the next one.